So this time we'll be looking at Warbird, part of the exclusive Wal-Mart series for the Toy Biz Marvel Legends. Other figures in the wave: Age of Apocalypse Sabretooth, Captain Britain, Kitty Pryde, the Scott Lang Ant-Man, Thor, Havoc, the Age of Apocalypse Weapon X, the Sentry, with the two variants being a bearded Sentry and a burnt up Age of Apocalypse Weapon X. The write-up for Warbird, very short, one of the shortest I've ever seen, along with the power grid and statistics there. On this side they give you instructions for the Giant Man figure, which was the Build-A-Figure. Warbird first appeared as Carol Danvers in Marvel Superheroes number 13 in 1968. She then appears as Miss Marvel in Miss Marvel number 1 in 1977. She makes her debut as Warbird in Avengers Volume 3, 4 or 5. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. She's got this nice, soft, rubbery sash here. She's got very soft hair, which allows her to have a lot of articulation in her head, more so than most female figures. I mean, it still does get in the way a little bit. Interesting to note that she actually has a double bicep swivel here. She has one here and then another one here. She does have a hole in the back of her for a peg. Unfortunately, they've made it too shallow for any of the stands to actually work with her. A good try, but you may have as well not have bothered. Also, in addition to the double bicep swivel, she has a double thigh swivel as well. The first one being up here close to this joint up here, and the second being here. Although, again, I don't know why they did the second, because the second really kind of, the sculpt breaks up, as well as the paint job on her boots. She's got a ball jointed head. However, the hair, as softened as it is, still does get in the way a little bit of posability. She's got a raised shoulder joint, the regular joint here that allows for 360 and in and out motion, a bicep swivel, as well as that second swivel, double jointed elbow, rotates here at the forearm, bends her wrist, and her fingers all bend together. Abdominal articulation as well as waist articulation. Her legs have these joints that you gotta swivel and go in and out. And she has the thigh swivel at the upper thigh and here at the mid thigh. And she's got a double knee joint here, although this top one is very stiff. She rotates at the calf there, bends at the ankle, as well as pivots at the ankle, and she has toe articulation. So, very nice articulated figure. Carol Danvers, or Warbird, Miss Marvel, it doesn't start out as a superhero. In fact, she starts out really as a supporting cast member in the Adventures of Captain Marvel in Marvel Superheroes. She's an officer in the U.S. Air Force, actually the head of the security at the base that Captain Marvel infiltrates. She continuously becomes caught up in his adventures. In one of those adventures, she's caught up in the explosion of this Kree device, which gives her powers similar to Captain Marvel. She then uses this powers to become a superhero in her own right, uh, but pays homage by naming herself Ms. Marvel. Starts hanging around with all the usual superpowered people, becomes a probationary member of the Avengers. I don't recall her actually joining until much, much later. However, she's attacked by Rogue, a very young Rogue, who holds on to her for too long, thus permanently draining her powers and her memories. Well, Professor X helps her sort out, and eventually she regains her memories, but a lot of the emotions tied to those memories are just not there anymore. So she hangs around with the X-Men for a while, goes off into space with them, and is captured by the Brood, who experiment on her and trigger her latent powers, and they come out and she's much more powerful. Renames herself Binary after the star. She loses this binary form and pumped up power level during Galactic Storm, which was a Kree versus Shi'ar war. For a while, does not have any powers until the third volume of the Avengers, where it's discovered that her body now kind of works differently. She can absorb energy and convert it into basically power her own powers. She has a lot of feelings of inadequacy, so she begins to deal with those through alcohol, and becomes, well, not becomes, she is an alcoholic. Iron Man, being an alcoholic himself, recognizes this fact, and before he can do anything about it, she really screws up, fighting bad guys drunk, basically. So that leads her to be thrown out of the Avengers, or for her to quit the Avengers, actually, before she's thrown out. You don't actually get to figure out whether she's been thrown out or not. She quits before there's a chance to for all the votes to be counted, and she really goes away for a little bit to help her deal with her alcohol problem. She does get over it, though, and she really comes to prominence again through, ironically, the House of M, that alternate reality that the Scarlet Witch creates where mutants rule. She's actually a regular, well, she's still her powered self, but she retains the powers that she got from that Kree device, and really is one of the premier heroes of that universe. When everything resets back to normal, she comes out with an ambition to regain that sort of level that she was at. And she stops using the Warbird name and goes back to being Ms. Marvel. Now, she is pro-registration during the Civil War, and eventually becomes leader of the Mighty Avengers. However, when Norman Osborn takes over the reins of S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything else, she refuses to work for him, and is replaced by Moonstone, but then manages to regain that title and joins the New Avengers, and she's still a part of the Avengers now that Steve Rogers is in charge. So that's where she is now, and so that's my review or look at Warbird, Ms. Marvel, Carol Danvers, stay tuned for my next review, which will be on the Falcon.